Subscribe to this channel to watch such videos. Prince Khaled, dear Khaled Nur Hakan, Prince of the Kin Kingdom and Commander of the Black Wolf Knights. I, Renato El Fleuret, Prince of the Fleuret Empire and descendant of the Fairy Queen, humbly ask you this with all my heart. Please marry me, capture the prince. Find him, quickly, I go that way. He can't have gone far, a man muttered exhausted. Just a little further, and he thought to himself, I've lived my whole life being controlled by others. So, at the very least, I'll choose where I die. Woof, Khaled cursed. Damn it! It's just his clothes. It was a decoy. The prince is headed for the imperial tomb, said one of the prince's soldiers. What? How repulsive. He's managed to set a trap with that body. We must stop him before he enters the tomb. Khaled clenched his fists. Renato! How dare you! You think you can play tricks on me? The Fleuret Empire was a nation said to have been blessed by the Fairy Queen. When the Fairy Queen's human companion died, she chose to give up her vitality and fall into an eternal sleep with him. Before falling asleep, the Fairy Queen bestowed her blessings on her children, and those children became the royal family of the Fleuret Empire, and the place where only the royals, recognized by the Fairy Queen, may enter to rest eternally is. Khaled's eyes widened. The imperial tomb. Suddenly he turned. It's the prince! The prince is over there, Renato's man shouted. We can't let him enter the imperial tomb, Khaled's voice rang out. It's too late. A man named Maximo stood frozen. A girl cried out. Maximo! You'll never become the true emperor, Renato cursed. Damn it! We lost him, Khaled roared. Break the barrier immediately. Find a way in, no matter what, a soldier hesitated. Why, your majesty? Please calm down. The forest keeper will be here soon, Khaled gritted his teeth. How do you know when the keeper will arrive? Why can't I enter? I'm the emperor of this land, one of his soldiers muttered under his breath. He's lost his mind, but Khaled's thoughts raced. Why did I come all the way to the place where the emperor and the Fairy Queen are resting? This must be the deepest part of the tomb. His fingers brushed against something. If it weren't for this watch, I would have been stabbed to death by Maximo's sword right there. He clenched the watch tighter. It's because of you that I made it this far. I don't think I'll be able to keep my promise to return this, though. His voice trembled. Great Fairy Queen! Are the people I've loved happy in your embrace now? The people whose lives were filled with nothing but pain and suffering, are they at peace there, without sorrow or grief? He lowered his head. I wish this bloodline had never continued. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. His vision blurred. This is my palace? His breath hitched. Could it be that Maximo finally broke the barrier? Did he save me while I was unconscious, and imprison me here again? His body trembled. Are those hellish days going to repeat themselves? Eek, a voice called out. Your Highness? Khaled flinched. Louis blinked. Oh my, you're drenched in sweat. Are you feeling ill? Khaled's voice was hoarse. What are you doing here? Louis frowned. What? Khaled whispered. You definitely died. Right in front of my eyes. Louis hesitated. What are you saying? I died? Did you have a nightmare? It's still early. You should get some more sleep, Louis added. It's the last day of Consort Ludmila's wake. Even if you can't attend, you should try to regain your strength. Khaled's mind reeled. Louis is alive, and Consort Ludmila's funeral is happening. But that was 6 years ago. His hands shook. Could it be? He turned to Louis. Louis, what day is it? Khaled, thinking. The wound inflicted by Maximo has healed. This isn't a dream. I've gone back to the past. I'm sorry. Prince Khaled, was that the voice of the Fairy Queen? Could she be the one who sent me back in time? Louis, asking, geez, he even said he doesn't want anyone attending to his bath. She asks, it seems like the second consort's passing was really hard on him. He surprised me last night. He just started crying and hugging us. Prince Khaled, Louis, Luna. Prepare to go out, okay? I need to attend Consort Ludmila's funeral. Louis asking, what? Are you sure you're feeling well enough? What's the first prince doing here? I heard he didn't leave his room at all for the entire wake. He was probably sent by the first consort. The emperor is still bedridden. He's probably trying to use this as an opportunity to score points. Luna, Lady Ludmila. I don't even deserve to cry in front of her coffin. It's already been 3 years since we started poisoning her meals, she asks. Why isn't Ludmila dead yet? Be quiet. Do you think poisoning someone slowly enough to avoid detection is easy? Just be patient. In a few more days, consort Ludmila will meet her end. Old man, and the poison to kill Trudy will also be ready. Girl, asking, and the poison to kill Trudy will also be ready? Old man, replying, haha. Ahaha. Back then, I was such a helpless coward. I couldn't tell anyone about my family's conspiracy. And I couldn't fulfill Lady Ludmila's last request, to protect Trudy. She asks, Trudy, she asks I'm truly sorry. I should have come sooner, Trudy, and no, it's fine. It's enough that you're here. I left this child all alone. In my past life, Trudy was caught up in a whirlwind of political strife after consort Ludmila's funeral. Even though the emperor provided protection, it wasn't enough to keep him safe, and eventually, tragedy struck. Trudy contracted the same rare disease as consort Ludmila and passed away. She asks, many things about it were suspicious, but no proper investigation was carried out. After that, I lost all will to carry on, but this time, it will be different. In this life, I will protect you, Trudy. I won't let my previous life repeat itself. I'll even give my life if needed, Lady Ludmila. A few days later, in the palace gardens of Kingdom, she asks, ugh, it's cold. Old man asking, watch what you say. These are rare collections, old man. Is that so? Then I guess you'll have more to collect soon. Man replying, what? Our monarch has issued you a direct order, Prince Khaled. You've been dispatched. Man asking, commander of the Black Wolf Knights, Khaled Nurhakan, is appointed as the diplomatic ambassador and military advisor to the Floret Empire. Floret requested this many soldiers. This is practically enough for a war. Consort Ludmila recently passed away. And Emperor Tristan's condition is reportedly so serious he couldn't even attend her funeral. Consort Ludmila. Do you mean the mother of the second prince, who is supposed to inherit the throne? Yes, that's correct. But with the second consort's death, the second prince's position has become uncertain. While she was alive, her only support was the emperor, and the second prince is still too young to take control. Then they should just appoint the first prince as the heir. What's the issue? I figured you'd say that, so I prepared a report. Currently, Floret is divided into 2 factions. The first prince was disqualified from inheriting the throne because he was born a beta. So the first consort is trying to adopt a distant royal, Maximo, and make him the heir to the throne. Maximo is said to be an alpha with ties to Marquis Medius, the first consort's father. This assignment is significant. You're essentially being dragged into a foreign political fight. Blanche, what an odd country. Allowing children of second spouses to inherit the throne instead of direct heirs born from the official spouse. Maximo, isn't it just a difference in tradition and custom? Even in our kingdom, we have people who are upset about the gender of the monarch. Blanche, replying, that's what I don't understand. Because of those customs and traditions, the first prince lost his position in the line of succession, and the second prince's mother died. And yet, these prejudices that make people's lives so miserable still exist. These tragedies could have been prevented a long time ago. Oh, right, Ludmila. I repaired the watch as you asked. Here, Blanche, replying, it looks good. Ludmila, are you sure you don't remember how it broke? I just woke up and it was like that. Ludmila, wasn't it passed down from Lady Jamila? There's no way something under such a strong protection spell would break that easily. There's no way something under such a strong protection spell would break that easily. Maybe someone cursed you. Otherwise, how could something that survived a war break like this? Blanche, that's not impossible. Maximo, you said you had a nightmare, right? Maybe it really was a curse. Blanche, a nightmare. Blanche, I can't remember who was in it though. Blanche, if I go to Floret, I'll enjoy warm winters for the next 5 years. Ludmila, you're walking right into the eye of the storm. It's not a vacation, Blanche, asking, hey, let's look on the bright side. While we're there, we'll investigate who has more support as the heir, the second prince or Maximo. Ludmila, asking, how could the monarch do something like this? Isn't this too dangerous for the prince? Your Highness, we're almost at the first consort's palace, Tristan said. Are you all right? You look tired. I'm fine. I just didn't get enough sleep. What were you doing in the library all night? I was just thinking about what I should do going forward, Renato said. What? Tristan asked. It's hard to explain. I'll tell you everything when the time is right, Renato thought. I spent the entire night thinking about how to protect Trudy from the first consort and Marquis Medus. But as always, I'm just a powerless extra. What could I possibly do? Even though I am the first prince, I have no claim to the throne simply because I'm a beta, an outcast prince that's always ignored. The royalty of Florette are noble beings who carry the blood of the fairy queen. In the early days of the nation, the royal family emphasized their uniqueness to solidify their authority. More beautiful, healthy, and youthful than others. Resistant to poison, with bodies that heal quickly. Even royal blood was considered a better cure than any medicine, so many people admired the royal family and aspired to be part of it. But even they could not escape the differences between traits. As alphas and omegas proved physically superior to betas, the beta royalty began to be regarded as inferior. In the competition for the coveted throne, traits became a convenient excuse, and so, starting 300 years ago, with the removal of beta royals from the line of succession. Why, Your Majesty? With all due respect, the prince is a beta. The persecution of the beta royals began at the first consort's palace. The father of the first consort, Marquis Emilio Medus, asked, why did you attend Ludmila's funeral of your own accord? Don't be afraid. There's no need to be scared, Renato stammered. I thought it would be best to pay my respects one last time. I have an audience with the Emperor the day after tomorrow, correct? Speak slowly, just as you planned, Medus instructed. I thought His Majesty would be angry if I didn't attend the funeral. You thought? She asked. Who told you to have thoughts like that? Renato clenched his fists. That's enough, Medus sighed. Considering the Emperor is already wary of us, it's best not to give him any reason to criticize us. I understand why His Highness acted as he did. Having been ordered by the Emperor to look after Consort Ludmila and the second prince for so long, he must have developed some attachment, and he must have feared falling out of favor with His Majesty. But it would have been better if you had consulted the first consort, or me before attending the funeral. Renato lowered his head. I acted hastily without thinking yesterday. I'm truly sorry. Haha, there's no need to apologize to me. Your judgment was not wrong. Given that the Emperor is wary of us, it's wise not to leave any room for criticism. The first consort, knowing your situation, will be generous enough to show you understanding, she said. If you say so, father. The first consort murmured. Renato thought to himself, if I keep living in fear like this, I'll never accomplish anything. I'll end up losing everything again. I can't let that happen. I need a plan. Later. Long time no see, outcast, Tristan said. I got saddled with an annoying task, so I'm here to see Consort Blanche. Is he inside? It's the same. The same arrogant tone, the same arrogant expression, the same rude attitude. Hey, why aren't you answering? Tristan snapped. What annoying task? I asked if Consort Blanche was in. Why are you giving me irrelevant answers? Tristan scoffed. Well, whatever. I was told to get acquainted with the new ambassador from the Kingdom. I'm being appointed as the special protocol officer. It's annoying, but it's about time I stepped into politics in earnest. Renato's eyes widened. An ambassador? From the Kingdom? If you need help, I'll assist you to the best of my abilities. Could I see him again? That man, Tristan frowned. What's wrong? Are you sick or something? It seems like you have a fever. I am sorry, Maximo. I was just startled. I'll be going now, Renato blurted, hurrying away. What? Tristan called after him. Your Highness? Someone asked. Renato clutched his chest. What's wrong? I feel like I'm burning inside. It's like I'm on fire, Your Highness! Ludmila gasped. The world I've returned to is still a horrifying hell. The perfect panacea is called fairy tears, Ludmila said. It can only be made using the blood of an imperial family member, one who has been blessed by the fairy queen. You'll never be the true emperor, even if you do this, Renato said. You're right, Ludmila replied. Because you were born as a damned beta, I, an unqualified, distant relative of the imperial family, climbed to the top by force. It's not reacting at all. It must be because he's not a chosen one. There's no way the fairy queen would ever bless me. Worse yet, the only guardian who knew how to concoct the fairy tears disappeared, which destroyed any love the citizens had for me. But I don't care about the will of the heavens. The panacea can be replaced, just as I was your replacement. Just look at the alternative that Marquis Medius created with your blood, Snake's Breath. It isn't as good as the original, but it's still quite useful, Ludmila said. So, Renato, you will stay by me, your king, and surrender your blood to me for the rest of your life. Gah! Renato groaned. Your Highness! A man called out. It's me, Louis! Are you all right? It was a nightmare about the past, Renato muttered. I need to visit the Emperor. Renato stood before the Emperor. I offer my greetings to the pinnacle of the most noble blood. May the blessings of nature be with you. Welcome, Renato, the Emperor said. Tristan L. Fleuret, reigning Emperor of the Fleuret Empire. I heard you stayed with Ludmila until the very end. The Emperor continued. Thank you. If it weren't for you, young Trudy would have had to stay with her alone, Renato replied. I don't deserve his gratitude, though. I was merely serving my duty. Her Majesty had graced me in many ways. Grace. Yes. Ludmila was the one who taught me the meaning of real love, the Emperor said. If not for her, I never would have been given the chance to apologize to you. I'm so sorry about everything, Renato. If only I weren't this way, he continued. My father was badly injured by a surprise ambush during a border expedition and has been unable to wield a sword ever since. As a man born to be a knight, this was no different from a death sentence. With Consort Ludmila's death on top of everything, none of us had the power to stay strong. Father, Renato said. Consort Ludmila tasked me with her dying wish. Did she? Renato, if I die, will you take care of Trudy for me? Ludmila's voice echoed in his memory. Ludmila asked that of you? The Emperor asked. Yes. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to honor her wishes, but I need your help to do so. I don't deserve to mourn Ludmila's death, Renato thought. I just hope that she can find peace after her unjust death. Do you understand the gravity of what you're saying, Renato? The Emperor asked. Helping Trudy means you'll be going against the wishes of the first consort. I know it's not easy to trust me, Renato replied. I carry the blood of House Medius, and I've only been used by the first consort. I've never gone against him. But the truth is that it's difficult for me to escape his control, which is why I need your help. Can you please give me a chance? Renato pleaded. I am prepared for what is to come. You're a better man than I am, the Emperor muttered. Tell me, what is it that you need? I heard Maximo Florence is being considered for the position of protocol officer, to receive the new diplomatic envoy from Kansas. I'd like you to give me this role, Renato requested. You want to be the special protocol officer? The Emperor asked. That won't be difficult to arrange, but may I ask what you're thinking? Prince Khalid Nurhakan will arrive as the diplomat from Cannes, Renato said. Since the only weakness of the First Consort's faction is a lack of armed forces, we must build a relationship with the prince to gain the upper hand. My advantage is that I have information from my past life, so I must take note of key events and individuals and use them to my benefit. Meeting Khalid as the special protocol officer will be the first step toward preventing the tragedy that is to come. I guess we have no choice but to get external forces involved, the Emperor mused. But do you think the First Consort's faction will accept your post as the protocol officer, even if I assign it to you? They will, Renato assured him. They still see me as an obedient pawn. I will take advantage of the first consort and Marquis Medu's carelessness to steal information and create obstructions. But I must maintain the relationship I have with them until I gain more power, so please kindly be aware of this in advance. You're all grown up now, the Emperor said. I will do my best to support you. Would things have been different in the past if I'd been as brave as I am now? Renato wondered. I don't know how or why I returned to the past, but I was given another chance, so I will not be afraid anymore. I will save everyone. Wow, the weather is amazing! It feels like spring. Isn't it amazing how winter here can be so different from home? Blanche said. This would be early spring weather back in our kingdom. So, did you say the protocol officer who's coming to greet us is the first prince? Ludmila said. That's correct. It's the beta prince. According to our informant, Duke Florence's son was more or less confirmed, but then the Emperor suddenly changed his mind and appointed the first prince, Blanche said. But aren't the first prince and Duke Florence's son both on the side of the first consort? There has to be a reason why the Emperor suddenly appointed the first prince. Well, despite a thorough investigation into the public affairs of the Empire, we were unable to discover anything significant about the first prince. Because he lacks succession rights, he's hardly made any appearances in high society, Louis said. We will investigate further as soon as we arrive in the capital, Blanche said. Good. The first prince in. We have arrived in the Fleuret Empire, Louis asked. Are you all right, Your Highness? Renato asked. Why do you ask? Louis said. You seem nervous, Louis said. Would you like me to summon a different doctor once your work today is done? I'll make sure Marquis Medus doesn't find out. I'm worried because you look so frail these days. Perhaps we can ask the Emperor for help, Renato said. No, it's fine. And don't worry about me. I'm perfectly fine, Louis asked. How could I not worry about you, the previous night? Louis asked. Are you doing this because of Consort Ludmila's dying wishes? Renato said. In a sense, yes, but, Lady Ludmila, I'm fine, Renato. She said. Don't come near me, Renato. You'll get blood on you, Renato said. I also don't want to feel helpless anymore. Besides, neither of you will be safe if Maximo becomes the Emperor. So will you support my decision? Louis said. Your Highness, your wish is our command. We will always support you, no matter what decision you make. She's right. What matters most to us is your happiness, so do as you see fit. Doing your job is one thing, but you must also take care of your health, Renato replied. I'm fine, Louis. Really? This time, I'll protect you. The Ken army has arrived. Welcome to the Fleuret Empire. I am Renato El Fleuret, the first prince. It is an honor to welcome such a revered guest. A man stepped forward. I'm Khalid Nurhaken. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Prince Renato El Fleuret. Renato thought, to make my acquaintance. Oh, that's right. Would you do me the honor of dancing with me, Your Highness, the descendant of the blessed? This is his first time meeting me because I've gone back to the past. Your Highness. What's the matter? Was there a problem with my introduction? What? Louis quickly interjected. And no, not at all, Khalid smiled. I'm glad to hear that. I learned a common language late in life, so I'm not quite fluent. Oh, you have nothing to worry about. Your pronunciation is perfect. It's just, Renato said. I think I'm a bit nervous because I'm finally meeting someone I've respected for a long time. I'd like to express once more how welcome you are, Prince Khalid. I am so pleased to meet a knight who commands the continent. Allow us to escort you to the official residence of the Kingdom. Once there, we will show you to your room, Louis said. You did well, Your Highness. You were excellent, especially considering how nervous you were, Renato said. Thank you, Louis. It's all thanks to you. My palms feel hot, as if they were scorched by flames. And I'm disappointed, even though I know he can't remember. It was a reunion only for me, Renato said. Your Highness? Prince Khalid thought. Why did he have such a look of nostalgia on his face? Be careful. That's fragile. Move this one over there, man asked. How do you like the office? Khalid said. It's not bad. How's the training hall? Man asked. It's a bit small, but they said it can be expanded. Shall we proceed with that? Khalid said. Yes. Training can't be neglected, Man asked. Understood. And what would you like to do about the banquet at the Imperial Palace the day after tomorrow? Khaled said. A banquet? Do I have to go? Man asked. Of course, you must. The banquet is meant to celebrate your arrival as the ambassador of the Ken Kingdom. It's being held in your honor, Khaled said. TSK, what a hassle, Man asked. Also, a message arrived from the First Prince. He says he will escort you if you don't already have a partner for the banquet, Khaled said. What? Escort me? What do you think? Man asked. Me? Considering the First Prince's position and the political issues within the Empire right now, why don't you attend with an Omega Knight like Alia? Khaled said. What should I do? Due to being a prince with an illegitimate background and the youngest captain of the Royal Order of Knights, Prince Renato said. Welcome to the Fleuret Empire. I can't help but notice things because of the way I grew up, Renato thought. And in my opinion, he's inexperienced. It is evident he's never gotten involved in government affairs before, Khaled said. I'll just leave a good impression, Renato said. I think I'm a bit nervous because I'm finally meeting someone I've respected for a long time, Prince asked. Respected? Why would a prince who's lived in a bubble respect me? Renato thought. And he looked so pleased to see me, almost as if he was being reunited with someone he knew, Khaled said. It's strange, Man asked. What do you mean? Khaled said. The First Prince. I get the feeling I've met him before, Man asked. Oh, there's no way. From what I remember, today was the first time you've met, Khaled said. I know, but something about him is familiar. Do you think I ran into him the last time I was in the Empire? Man replied. You surely would have remembered him if you had. Frankly, his features are rather memorable, Khaled said. That's true. He has a unique appearance, so I'm sure I would have remembered him, even if I saw him in passing. That's what makes this even stranger. A sense of familiarity, and a genuine welcome, as if he'd missed me. Tomorrow morning, tell Prince Renato that I will accept his offer to be my escort, Man asked. What? He waved his hand and said, But I don't think it's a good idea. Going with Alia would be much safer if we want to stop unnecessary rumors from spreading, Khaled said. People will talk even if I go with Alia. They'll complain that we're keeping too much to ourselves. That's true, but, besides, the prince made the request first, and since we'll be seeing him often from now on, we should stay on his good side, Man asked. All right, Khaled replied. Maybe once I see him again I'll understand why he seems so familiar, Renato said. Prince Khaled accepted my request? Louis said. Yes. His aide just sent a message. He even said he's looking forward to it. What's the matter? Didn't you want to be his partner? Renato said. I was hoping we'd get closer if he accepted the request, but I thought he'd surely reject it. There you are, second-guessing yourself again, Louis said. Didn't I tell you that your trait is not a weakness? But you know the situation I'm in. Everyone knows how I'm treated by the imperial family. So what if it negatively affects the prince too? Louis said. Gosh. You said you needed his help in order to protect Prince Trudy, right? Then you need to make a move regardless of the risks. Your Highness, you need to be stronger and bolder in order to achieve your goal. You know how cruel politics can be, Renato said. Yes, you're right. Thank you, Louis said. Now then, shall we get ready for the banquet? We don't have a lot of time if you're going to escort Prince Khaled. We must first decide what you will wear to the banquet. I could only prepare 3 in the time I had, Prince Renato said. Don't you think this is too much? Louis said. I'm going to make you shine, do you understand? No one will dare say a word because you'll be so glamorous. But before that, Renato said. Can I visit Trudy quickly? Louis said. Prince Trudy? Right now, Renato said. Yes. I haven't seen him since the funeral, so we made plans to have tea together today, Louis said. A quick visit should be fine, but you have to return before lunch, Louis said. I will accompany you, Your Highness, Renato said. Huh? It's fine. It's just next door. As you know, the palace is a very dangerous place for you. As Emperor Tristan's illness became worse and Consort Blanche's influence within the palace became absolute, the palace became a dangerous place for me. But once Marquis Medius started focusing more on politics, and Consort Blanche became confident he could fully control me, surveillance on me became lax. Thanks to that, only the bare minimum of guards were assigned to my palace, which gave me the chance to visit Ludmila or Trudy whenever I wanted. Luna said, "Things have been fine so far, but you must be more careful now that you have chosen a different plan." "Your safety is our #1 priority," Renato said. "Thank you, Luna." "My goodness," Ludmila said. "I guess you couldn't see where you were going. Are you all right?" At that time, the capital city was exploding with gossip about how the Emperor had visited the central region and returned with a beautiful Omega woman. I was taking a walk as usual when I ran into Ludmila, who was lost. Ludmila said, "You're the prince." "Oh my. Please forgive my insolence," she asked. "I'm Ludmila Bloom." "You have a leaf on your cheek." "I'd never felt such a warm touch before," Ludmila said. "We meet again, Your Highness?" she asked. "You're as cute as ever," Renato said. "Cute? I don't disturb you," Ludmila said. "Disturb me? Why would you disturb me?" "Well, because I'm a beta," a maid gasped. "Consort Ludmila. Please. My goodness. I can't believe people really discriminate based on traits. Elves, the Empire. They're all the same," Ludmila said. "Listen carefully, Your Highness. You didn't do anything wrong," Renato said. "What?" "But," she hugged him and said, "the disturbing thing is that terrible law that discriminates against betas and the people that go along with it. You deserve all the love in the world. I can only imagine how tough things must have been for you." After that, Lady Ludmila frequently invited me to her palace. Blanche wasn't pleased with our relationship, but he had to back down when I was given an imperial order to help Consort Ludmila become acquainted with the palace. Ludmila said, "Look over here, Your Highness. Clovers. Tada. Hee, you're so cute," she slipped and said. "Your Highness." I began to smile more. A girl sneered, "If you hadn't been born as a beta, that pointy-eared elf would never have become the second consort. But she won't care about you anymore now that she has an alpha son." "No one wants a useless beta," Ludmila said. "Thank you for coming, Your Highness. The reason I invited you today is," a voice echoed in my head, "be a good boy, Trudy. She won't care about you anymore now that she has an alpha son," Renato thought. "Did she summon me to tell me that she doesn't want to see me anymore?" Ludmila said. "Now that you're Trudy's big brother, I'd like to know. Can I call you by your first name? I know that the right to call a royal by their first name is reserved only for family members, but," she asked. "Would you mind?" Renato said. "Please call me Renato, Lady Ludmila. How wonderful it would have been to have you as my real mother. Look at this, Trudy. Clovers. Tada." Trudy and I were close despite being half-brothers, and the times I spent with those two were the happiest moments of my life. Renato said. "Lady Ludmila," a doctor sighed, "we cannot find the cause. Not even fairy tears have any effect. All I can say is that it's a very rare disease. Now, not only the Emperor but also the second consort is bedridden," Renato whispered. "Consort Ludmila," a girl scoffed. "Forget about the second consort and the second prince. I don't want you to visit them anymore either. You're under house arrest, useless brat." Time passed as the doctors continuously struggled to discover a cure, and with Tristan and Ludmila both bedridden, Blanche's influence only increased. After a year under house arrest, I went to the first consort's palace late one night to ask Blanche if I could be set free. That's when I overheard his conversation with Marquis Medius. "It's already been 3 years since we started poisoning her meals," a girl asked. "Why isn't Ludmila dead yet?" Medius hissed. "Be quiet! Do you think poisoning someone slowly enough to avoid detection is easy? Just be patient. In a few more days, Consort Ludmila will meet her end," he added. "And the poison to kill Trudy will also be ready," the girl gasped. "Father! You finally did it!" "Ha ha! Ahaha!" Renato froze. "It can't be. Lady Ludmila isn't sick. She's being murdered." "Who can I tell? Louis? Luna?" "No. Their mother was targeted when she found out about Blanche's evil deeds. The Emperor? No, there's no way he'd trust Blanche's son. Besides, all of the doctors have been carefully screened and selected by the Emperor, which means there is a traitor among them. Then, the only remaining person is, Prince Renato whispered. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Lady Ludmila. Ludmila weakly smiled. I see, so it was poison, Renato said. What should we do? Perhaps I should just tell my father. Ludmila shook her head. No, that would be too dangerous. Renato's hands trembled. But we have to do something, Ludmila said. There's no evidence, and we don't know who the traitor is yet, so we must be cautious. One wrong move, and all of us could be in danger, Renato cried. Lady Ludmila, he panicked. What should I do? Should I get a doctor? Ludmila pleaded. Don't, Renato! Then they'd frame you as the culprit. She smiled sadly. I guess this is the end. She reached out and whispered. Renato, there are 2 things I'd like to ask of you, Ludmila said. When I die, please look after Trudy, Renato said. No. You're not going to die. So, please, don't say, Ludmila asked. Just once, would you call me mother? I've always wished that I could have been your real mother, Renato thought. The one thing I've always wanted is happening right now. It's like a dream. They've always been my precious family, but when we were all together, I often felt like I was separate from them. That's why I wanted nothing more than to be her real family, and to be able to call her my mother, Ludmila said. This is my last wish, so please, Renato said. Mo. Sniffle sob. Mmoth. HNGH. Mother, she hugged him and said. Thank you, Renato. In my next life, will you be my real son? Please, Renato said. I will. I want you to be my mother. You have to be happy, Renato. Ludmila fell unconscious after that conversation and passed away a month later. Renato. It's been a while, brother, Renato, crying, said. I missed you so much, Trudy laughed. Haha, Trudy. You shouldn't run around like that, Trudy asked. Brother, were you crying? Renato replied. Huh? No. I just had something in my eye, that's all, Trudy said. Are you sure? Did Consort Blanche get mad at you again because you were coming to see me? Renato said. No, it's nothing like that, Renato thought. That's right. I don't have any time to waste. For this child. I'm willing to do anything, even if it's as shameful as using others. Knock on the door. A voice arrived. Your Highness, Renato said. Nasir? Come in, Nasir said. Prince Renato has arrived, Your Highness, Khalid said. Already? I'd better get going then, Nasir smiled. You look great today. Perfect for the honored guest. By the way, how's the watch? Did you have another nightmare? Khalid said. It's fine, and it wasn't a nightmare. It was just a sad dream, Nasir asked. That's called a nightmare, Khalid said. No, it was different from a nightmare. There was a feeling of nostalgia, Khalid thought. He felt familiar and pitiful at the same time. Renato said. Good evening, Prince Khalid. You look splendid, Khalid said. Thank you. You look quite beautiful yourself, Renato blinked. What? Really? Khalid replied. Yes. Did I upset you? Should I have said you look handsome? But beautiful is much more accurate, Renato stammered. And no. I apologize for the strange reaction. I'm not used to receiving compliments, that's all. He was just being polite, so why am I so nervous? Khalid thought. He lacks confidence. A small compliment like that shouldn't affect him so much. He also doesn't know how to control his expressions, Renato asked. I tried to look my best today because I'm escorting you. So I'm glad you're pleased, Khalid thought. At this rate, he's never going to make it in this world. It's like he's a helpless child left on a riverbank. Wait, but why do I even care? Renato said. Your Highness, Khalid said. Thank you for escorting me today. I'm not very good at parties, but I'll do my best, Renato said. I will also make sure your evening is as pleasant and comfortable as possible. Now then, shall we get going? Khalid thought. I feel like I should be the one escorting him instead, Khalid muttered. Look at all of them. gossiping about me. Do they think I can't hear them? I'm the strongest knight on the continent. Even the pheromones feel heavy. This is why I didn't want to come. Where did Prince Renato go? I actually need a partner right now. He said he needed to do something, but I think he just wanted to give me space. I heard about how he's treated here, but it's worse than I thought. A guy thought no one would even look at him. It's like he's invisible. Yet the prince seemed like he was used to it. A girl thought, and the way the first consort looked at him. It wasn't the gaze of someone looking at their son. This isn't good. Seeing him is triggering memories from my past. The stares I got when I was a child. The hostility. The rejection. Khaled clicked his tongue. TSK. He's a prince, yet he's hiding in a corner. TSK. He's a prince, yet he's hiding in a corner. Renato thought, who is that? Renato said. I'm exhausted from being anxious all day. I should go back to him after I've rested for a moment. Hey! Maximo said. What are you planning? Did you think I wouldn't notice? Renato asked. What are you talking about? Maximo said. The Marquis thinks it was the Emperor's idea to make you the protocol officer, but Ike wasn't, was it? It was you, right? You did this, Renato said. You know I don't have the power to convince the Emperor. Don't accuse me of something that wasn't my fault, Maximo said. Not your fault? Fine. That aside, Maximo said. What's going on between you and Prince Khaled? Renato said. What are you talking about? Why are you sucking up to him? What's with that attitude? Renato said. Don't be ridiculous. I'm just trying to be polite and respectful. Besides, you know it's in Consort Blanche and Marquis Medu's favor for me to build a relationship with Prince Khaled, Maximo said. What's going on with him today? Renato thought. Is he the same Renato who used to cower away from me? What happened to that pathetic coward? His gaze, his expressions, and even his voice when he talked to Prince Khaled. It's different from the way he speaks to me, Maximo said. Tell me the truth. What are you plotting? Renato asked. What? What's your problem? Renato thought. This ringing in my ears. It's okay. He can't do anything to you. Relax. Relax and just take a step. Please, Khaled said. There you are, Your Highness, Renato said. Prince Khaled. Maximo raised his finger and said. What are you doing? We were in the middle of a conversation, Khaled said. Who's he? Renato said. That's Duke Florence's son, Khaled said. I've heard a lot about you, Maximo said. I'm Maximo Florence. It is an honor to meet you, Your Highness, Khaled said. I wish I could stay and chat, but I must take His Highness away. As the dance has just started, Renato thought, the ringing in my ears and the pain in my chest are suddenly gone. I knew I needed him, Khaled asked Renato. You look troubled, so I stepped in. But did I overstep? Renato replied. No, not at all. You were an immense help to me. Thank you, Khaled said. The two of you don't seem to have the best relationship. Khaled thought, I didn't want to notice these things, but just now. He was showing signs of someone who had suffered long-term abuse, Khaled said. Even if he's an unappreciated prince, a prince is still a prince. He's not someone who should be pushed around by the son of a duke, Khaled thought. Based on what I saw today, the first consort seems to have allowed Lord Maximo to abuse Prince Renato. The heartless nature of power gives rise to things that should never happen. I'm no different. Since I killed my own family to establish Miriam as the monarch. I'm sorry, Khaled, she asked. The things I keep asking you to do are. Please forgive me, Renato said. Your Highness. Your Highness? Khaled said. Renato said. You looked a bit upset all of a sudden. If I've done anything to displease you, Khaled said. No, I apologize. My mind was somewhere else for a moment. What is there for me to be upset about? Khaled thought. I can't help but be concerned for him. A beta prince with no succession rights and an illegitimate prince who was adopted by a childless queen. The details of our situations are different, but the fact that our very existence is scorned by those around us is something we have in common. If it weren't for my mother and Miriam, I would have been treated in the same way as Prince Renato. For all I know, he could be the wild card that impacts the state of the empire. I'd better get Nasir to look into his background in more detail, Khaled asked. When this song is over, can we go somewhere quiet to talk privately? Renato asked. I can promise your time will not be wasted, Khaled said. I should say a no. Sure, Renato said. Thank you. I have a bad feeling that I'm about to get inextricably entangled with Prince Renato, Renato said. No one should disturb us here, Renato said. Your Highness? Khaled said. Please wear this, Renato said. Khaled said. You looked like you were cold, Renato said. There's no need to be so considerate, Khaled said. It was just a small gesture of kindness, Khaled said. So, what is it that you wish to talk about? Renato said. Well, Renato thinking. I've rehearsed this moment over and over in my head, but I'm so nervous right now that my mind is going blank. Is this the best time to bring this up? Should I wait? But no. Maximo is suspicious already, so I might even lose my role as the protocol officer soon. I can't let that happen. I won't back down anymore, Renato said. Prince Khaled. Dear Khaled Nurhakan, Prince of the Kingdom and Commander of the Black Wolf Knights. I, Renato El Fleuret, Prince of the Fleuret Empire and descendant of the Fairy Queen, Renato said. Humbly ask you this with all my heart. Please marry me, Khaled said. Did you just propose to me? Renato said. I did. But to be more exact, I'd like to enter into an agreement with you through this marriage, Khaled asked. An agreement? Do you mean like a contract? Renato said. Yes. Please be my husband for 3 years. I'll make it worth your while in return, Khaled laughed. Ha! Why me of all people? This is only the second time we've met, Renato said. The number of times we've met doesn't matter. I need your power to achieve my goal, and in return I will help you achieve your goal as well, Khaled thinking. How foolish was I to concern myself over a man like him? You speak as if you know what I want. An ice-free port you can use to trade over the winter, farmland for a stable food supply, and political influence strong enough to settle your issues with Queen Miriam, Khaled said. What? How does he know that? Khaled said. You're speaking to a prince right now. One wrong move and this could become a diplomatic issue. Is there a reason why we must be married for exactly 3 years? I need to understand what his objective is first, Renato said. In 3 years, my half-brother, the second prince, will turn 11. The power of the fairy blood that flows through the imperial bloodline is only activated after the age of 10, which means Trudy will become strong enough to protect himself by that age. This was why he died before he reached the age of 10, Renato thinking. I need Prince Khaled to protect Trudy and get rid of Marquis Medius, Renato said. What I want is for you to protect the second prince, Khaled asked. Will he be safe in 3 years? How can you be sure? Renato said. I can't guarantee anything, but I will accept a divorce after 3 years regardless of the circumstances, Khaled said. But wait. I don't quite understand. Are you trying to make the second prince the next emperor? Renato said. Yes. I want him to survive so that he can be the official crown prince. The emperor is already aware of my intentions, Khaled thought. I guess running that background check on him was useless. But I thought you were on the first consort's side, Renato said. I was until now, but I've decided not to live like this anymore. I don't want to lose someone dear to me again, Khaled thought. The second consort recently passed away, didn't she? I guess they were closer than I thought. If her death caused this change of heart, then I understand where he's coming from, but I still don't understand why he chose me. Right. I see, Khaled said. Then. His personal issues are one thing, but I hate getting involved in foreign politics. I apologize, but I must dismiss this proposal. It's getting late, so I'll be returning to my quarters, Renato said. Wait, Khaled said. Until next time, then, Renato thinking. I couldn't say anything. I should have tried to convince him, but his gaze was so cold, Renato said. Ha! It's okay. You knew this wouldn't happen easily. But then why does my heart ache so much? Prince Khaled asked. What? He proposed to you, Nasir replied. Yes. Did the first prince fall in love with you at first sight? Khalid said. Don't be ridiculous. He wanted to marry me and make a deal. He asked that I protect his half-brother for the next 3 years, Nasir said. What? The second prince instead of the first consort? Khalid said. That's right. Apparently, they're closer than I thought. I think the late second consort was very dear to the first prince, Nasir said. I can't believe this, Khalid said. In other words, your report was completely inaccurate, Nasir said. My apologies, Your Highness. I will reinvestigate, Khalid said. So? Why aren't you leaving then? Nasir replied. Well, can you tell me more about this proposal? What did he offer in return? Khalid said. An ice-free port and farmlands, Nasir said. What? An ice-free port and farmlands. He's willing to give you land? Khalid said. I doubt it's the land itself. It's probably the rights to use the port and a portion of the farmland's harvest. He also said he would help me settle my issue with the queen, Khalid replied. That's what I can't figure out either. The first prince, he's quite troublesome, Nasir said. But that is a very favorable offer, Khalid said. That's the other problem. It feels like he has the upper hand, Nasir said. Perhaps you're overthinking it, Khalid said. Why would he make such an advantageous offer? Yet look at me with those apologetic eyes, Ken Kingdom. A mercenary state that provides military forces to the Floret Empire, which is always in need of manpower due to frequent foreign invasions. Located in a high-altitude area, the Ken Kingdom suffers from harsh winters, which always results in yearly food shortages. They've been receiving food in return for supplying military forces, but they will eventually collapse if they don't find a way to become independent, Nasir said. We can easily import food during the winter if we secure an ice-free port. And farmlands would help the kingdom enter a new stage of development. Just the thought of it makes my heart beat faster. Which region did the first prince mention? Esteban? Andalusia? Or maybe Fredo? Whichever region it is, securing any of them would be a huge advantage. Your Highness. Are you listening, Your Highness? Khalid said. I don't know. We didn't get that far, Nasir said. What? Why not? Khalid said. I cut him off before he could continue. Wayat? Did you turn down the marriage proposal without listening to the full offer? What's the point of listening? I'm not going to marry him anyway, Nasir said. But things could change. You might like him more after a few more, Khalid said. Me? I guess the prince really did his homework. Considering how enthusiastic you are about this, Renato said. Are you really not interested at all? Khalid said. I already turned him down, Khalid said. Besides, I don't plan to get married to anyone, Khalid said. I told you, I'll be alone until the day I die, Khalid said. Whether it's marriage or a contract, they're all just trying to use me. My sister is enough family for me. Yet that sister sent you away, Nasir said. Your Highness. Why don't you at least listen to what he has to say? That's enough, Khalid said. If you're going to continue with this nonsense, then get out of here and do some work. Yes, Your Highness, Nasir asked. But it's such a good opportunity, Khalid said. It wouldn't hurt to at least. Nasir, he replied. Right, I'm sorry, Sir, Renato said. An ice-free port you can use to trade over the winter, farmland for a stable food supply, and political influence strong enough to settle your issues with Queen Miriam, Renato thinking. Maybe I should have let him finish. I turned him down at the time because I was so overwhelmed with anger, but as Nasir said, this could be the opportunity of a lifetime. But something keeps bothering me, the way he sounded like he knew about the subtle issues between me and Miriam, his strangely affectionate attitude, and the look of guilt in his eyes. As he pleaded with me, Khalid said. I've rejected everyone so far without a second thought, whether it was political or out of pure interest. I never once considered entering a relationship. I thought the first prince would be the same, Khalid said. So why is it that I can't get him out of my mind? Phew. He thinks he can settle my issues with Queen Miriam, Miriam asked. I'm sorry, Prince Khalid said. Why are you suddenly apologizing? Miriam said. I have to apologize. I'm sending our empire's greatest achiever away to a foreign country, Khaled laughing. Haha. You're making it look like I'm being exiled, Miriam said. You don't deserve this. I should have listened to you back then, Miriam asked. Instead of showing mercy after I took the throne, I should have killed everyone else like you said. That way, the aristocrats wouldn't have been able to complain about every tiny little detail. The only reason you became a diplomat was because the aristocrats were cautious of you being my weapon, Khaled asked. Frankly, things would have turned out the same regardless of what decision you made. After all, it's not just the aristocrats who hate me. Those noble aristocrats can't fathom the thought of serving a disgusting illegitimate child, even if he is the brother of their monarch, Miriam said. Khaled said. It's fine. All I need is your trust in me. As embarrassing as this is to admit, I failed to take control over the aristocrats, Miriam said. But I do not plan to let them walk all over me forever. Give me 5. No, 3 years. I will bring you back by then. I swear on my life. The moment I looked into her eyes that day, I realized that she was already under their influence. No matter how weak the royal authority might be, the power to appoint still belongs to the monarch. If she had been determined to reject my relocation, it never would have happened, but at least for a moment, Miriam ended up questioning my loyalty, which is supported by the public. Miriam, my sister, was already gone, and all that remained was the monarch of the kingdom. She abandoned me to protect her power, Khaled said. I know she was genuinely sorry, but we can never go back to the way things were, Khaled thinking. I wish I didn't know, Khaled asked. It's time for me to change too, Khaled asked. If I marry, or rather, if I enter an agreement with the prince, it will be a good thing not just for me, but also for my knights, Khaled thinking. After all, none of them have been compensated properly. This is the right thing to do. I know that, but, Khaled asked. My head hurts. I need to go for a walk. The first consort's palace. This is going to sting a little, Medius said. All done. Thanks to your contribution, my research is doing better than ever. I truly appreciate it, Renato said. Of course. I'm glad I can be of help, Marquis. Fairy tears is the panacea created using the blood of the imperial family. Marquis Medus has been profiting off of an inferior alternative to fairy tears called snake's breath. This is a serious crime that could shake up the entire imperial family, Medius said. Haha. It's also thanks to you that House Medus is becoming more influential by the day. This will help greatly when it's time to battle for the imperial throne, Renato thought. But no one suspects him because he's the prince's doctor. I don't have enough evidence or power yet, so I need to be patient. Even though I want to destroy that bottle right now, she asked. That's enough, father. That child has done nothing for us. All he did was provide a few drops of blood. He humiliated me by being born as a beta. He doesn't deserve to be complimented by my father. I can't forgive him. He needs to pay for ruining my life, she asked again. It's the prince who should be thankful to you, father. If it weren't for you, he'd still be a piece of trash that does nothing but eat, Medius said. I need to console him so he doesn't start getting rebellious. What? A piece of trash? Do not say such a thing, she asked. Father, Medius said, we were able to build our influence to what it is now. All because His Highness risked his life to give us his blood, she asked. I apologize, father. I was wrong to say what I did, Medius sighed. How did I end up with such a fool for a son? Do not be upset, Your Highness. The first consort can be too sharp with his words at times, Renato said. I'm fine. Anyway, if our business here is done, may I be excused? Of course, Louis asked. Your Highness, Renato said. Where is Luna? Louis said. She hasn't returned yet, Renato said. If she's gone for too long. It's all right if she doesn't find what she's looking for right away, so tell her to come. Ugh, Louis said. Your Highness. Are you all right? Renato replied. I'm fine, Louis asked. Your Highness. Let's just go. I can't breathe here, Renato said. I really think you should see a doctor. I'm fine, honestly. Why are you so worried lately? I'm just a little dizzy, that's all, Louis asked. You keep giving me reasons to be worried. I know you don't feel comfortable with the imperial doctors because Marquis Medus has influence over them, so I can look for a doctor from outside the palace. You weren't like this before, but these sessions seem to be taking more of a toll on you lately. I'm really worried about you, Your Highness. The random bursts of pain, the nightmares. You won't even let me help you get dressed anymore. It's just all so strange, Renato said. It's fine. You don't have to look for someone new, Louis said. But, Renato said, everything will be settled once Luna finds the person I sent her after. I plan to get treated by that person, Louis said. Really? But didn't you say this person was an apothecary? Renato asked. Yes, and also a doctor. Although their license was revoked, Louis said. That puts me at ease somewhat. Phew. We're almost at Prince Khalid's residence. Did you pack everything I told you to? Renato said. Of course. It's all here. But, are you sure this will be okay? Louis said. His Highness already turned you down, Khalid said. I was too complacent. I apologize, but I must dismiss this proposal, Renato thought. I know Khalid from the past and present are different people, but I still assumed that he'd accept the proposal. Because he was always kind and polite, because he always did his best for me, because of the memories from my past life, Louis asked. Your Highness? Renato replied. I'm fine. It's too soon to give up, Renato thought. When I recall that lost past, my scar throbs like Maximo is right in front of me. Even though it's nothing but memories now, Renato said. I should be fine since Maximo isn't around today, Louis said. That rotten guy. He's nothing but an obstacle in your life. That's true, Khalid threw the ball and asked. Gio, get it, Ron? The dog caught the ball and asked. Yes, Khalid said. I finally feel a little, Ron? Ron! No, Khalid thought. This is bad. What if he attacks someone? No, the dog started biting, and Renato asked. Your Highness,